Okay, welcome back to another deck profile. This is going to be my updated deck profile after locals. I went to locals around 2 or 3 weeks ago. It was the week before Supreme Darkness came out, so I played in locals there. My matchups were Malice, and I got whooped by Malice because I had no idea how to play against it, and it was a really good Malice player too. Uh, so I played Malice, and then I played Ubel. I won against Ubel. Then I played against Ryziel, and it was really close. We went down to game three, but I accidentally sided out my Ray Raptors rank up magic spell, my one card combo, and it didn't. I descended on Blackwing Dragon and SP Little Knight with nothing on board. So yeah, um, that was cool. And then my last matchup was against Memento, and I 2-0'd him. So I have updated the list for the deck profile. I really understand why Lancey is played so much, and I've sided that in. I'm going to show you guys the main deck, the extra deck, and the side deck. Obviously, the side deck is it's up to you on what you want to play. It's different for every locals. It's different for regionals. I don't go to regionals, so if you want more competitive um, side deck, you can definitely go to them for it. But this is like overall my kind of you know thinking process, and I'm going to run through everything. So first off, with the main deck monsters of Blackwings, we have three Simoons, standard as always. Always going to need three Simoons. It's literally too crazy in the deck, and when you have another Blackwing in hand, and they hash the whirlwind, you just be like, all right, well, normal summon this, search Vada, and full combo. Uh, yeah. Then three Sudri, the best normal summon in the deck. It's actually crazy how many times I drew into him, and I was like, well, that's full combo, or I have him for follow up for next turn, and I can just keep playing. Uh, then we have the three Vadas. Obviously, one card combo into the Raid Force, or sorry, the Rising Rebellion Falcon. He's such a great extender in making Blackwing Dragon and filling up your graveyard. He also really helps too with Visuals, so you can have targets for that. And then I'm only playing one Shamal. Um, I'm playing this because if you have Shamal and Black Feather Whirlwind in hand already, Shamal essentially becomes a dead card. And I saw Silent Blackwing's video where he said I would only want one Shamal because what would you rather have in a situation? Sudri or Vata with Shamal or with Chris or Bora. Because ultimately, if your Sudri or Vata gets negated, now you're sitting on nothing with a Shamal in your hand that doesn't do anything. You can't normal summon it. Uh, you can't special it because it doesn't have that condition. And sending it to grid to get Feather Whirlwind doesn't help you in this scenario. Plus, you can also search Shamal off of obviously the Sudri or to still get its graveyard effect, which can be a very good extender that way. However, when it came down to the Bestials, it was very just like I'd have Shamal and a Bestial, and that'd be it. I wouldn't be able to do anything, and it'd be kind of really bad because I wouldn't have a target for my Bestial at times, and I just have Shamal sitting in my hand not doing anything. So it's definitely a trade off. Uh, yeah, you can also get it through your Arsenal Falcon or your Y-Strix and bounce it back with Zephyros if it's through Y-Strix. But if you summon it off of Arsenal Falcon, you can just use the effect then, or just keep it engraved and get it through Dispotter somehow. Literally, there's so many other ways, more viable ways of getting Shamal than just constantly searching it with Sudri and then your play can almost end there. And also be really bricky, in my opinion. Just having the one Black Feather Whirlwind and you have this in your hand, they're two dead cards. And Black Feather Whirlwind is pretty much a copy of Shamal, just not a Blackwing name. So with that, we are going to go on to the one-ofs, which is going to be one Zonda, of course, one Kunai, which is why we're playing the Zonda, one Zephyros, one Chris, one Bora, one Shanga, one Harmattan, and then Chinook. I cannot count how many times these one-ofs have come in desperately to my aid. Like having Vada with Zephyros, Chris, or Bora makes your combo infinitely times better, along with Harmattan, because it can just level modulate and still get its specialing out. And then you go into Borea Storm and make something that way. Drawing into Zephyros isn't as bad because we do have the Vada, we have the Simoon, the Chris and the Bora allow you to extend a lot more. And then Zephyros with any Blackwing that can special summon off itself. So Harmattan, Bora, Chris, and Vada. I think those are really the only ones. Allow you to go full combo, regardless if you have a tuner or not, because you can just go into Y-Strix, summon out a level 4, like Chris or Bora, bounce it back with Zephyros, and then resummon with Bora or Chris in your full combo. And then Chinook being a basically like a Veiler makes it super, super fucking good when you're going first or second, because your opponent can set up a void. You can be like, oh well, Chinook. No, this is all pretty standard. And then going on to the Blackwing spells, I'm running 2 Whirlwinds. Obviously, really standard with the Blackwings. One Feather Whirlwind. Obviously, you draw into it. It's not too much of a brick. It's actually kind of nice. And then Blackbird Close. I decided to play Blackbird Close instead of the Black Shadow Squirrel because not every deck is gonna be using spells, and it's really kind of hard to set up. It's not too hard. It's just a lot of resource management when it comes to setting up your feather counter, the feather counter, because you need a feather counter to activate Shadow Squirrel. And yes, they're both counter traps, so they're both very nice. But Blackbird Close allows you to play this from hand, so you don't need to set it. As long as you control a Blackwing Dragon or a Blackwing Single Monster, you just need to tribute a Blackwing for cost, and you can negate a monster effect. Sorry, negate a monster activation on the field. And playing it from hand, tributing, and then making Blackwing Dragon sets off a whole bunch of triggers. So say you couldn't end up with Chinook in your hand, but you still have Shamal in the grave. You do Blackbird Close, special out your Blackwing Dragon. Shamal is now going to trigger, so you get Chinook to hand, and your Feather Whirlwind can trigger to grab Zonda and summon it and bounce your opponent's card back to hand. So there's a lot of interactions that way. If you also special Nothung, you can do Feather Whirlwind to grab Nothung to special it out and burn your opponent for 8. Just if you want to kind of close time out a little bit more, since you're going to have an Assault Dragon in your arsenal. Sorry, not your arsenal, your Rising Rebellion Falcon. So yeah, this card kind of comes up pretty frequently. It's just there's no good way of searching it besides Sidri, so it gets a little hard to consistently get it. Other than that, if you have Shamal in your hand already, or you don't want to search for Shamal and just go based off of a regular board, you can get Blackbird Close. So yeah, to the Bestial package, I'm only playing 1 Lubellion because I cut down on the Shamals. I wanted less Bestials. I know Lubellion doesn't have the quick effect, but it's still Lubellion, I kind of think is a card you want to have the more of if you're playing Chaos Angel. And later on, I'm going to show you that I cut Chaos Angel for a different card. It never really came up much. And I know it's a good out to Detonator or Duo Drive, whichever one it is. But I think this deck already has a lot more ways of getting rid of those two through Zonda or the Bestials already, or Chinook and Shanga and all those cards. So it can't like detach and bring stuff back. But I don't have too much experience with the Ryzeal. And then I'm playing one Bestial Baldric, one Magnemite, and the one Jerusalem. This is my standard build for it. Baldric is going to get a lot more popularity post Suda because Orcus is getting so much support and they're giving you a free token as a dark. So you can Baldric banish that, one of their monsters in the graveyard, summon out the Baldric. So that's already an interruption, and then the Baldric can tribute the token that you already don't care about to banish that card. Like if they summon out like their Link 1 or whatever. And then I have the one Regain. So yeah, I think this is pretty standard. I wanted to stay at a consistent 42, and the only thing I could get rid of was the Lubellion to make that happen while keeping the Blackbird close in. Yeah. And then Regained is obviously it's so good drawing. And then resummoning back out your Bestials. It gives you a better grind game for the deck because the deck doesn't have a good grind game. So yeah, those are the Bestials. Going on to the rank ups, pretty standard. Two, the rank up Magic Skip Force and the rank up Rise rank up Magic Radioactive Force. Wow, that's a tongueful. I hate that. Yeah, this is the card I sided out, so I ended on absolutely nothing against Ryzeal, and then he beat me in time because I didn't just blew over my monsters. So that was cool. Decided because I don't own the Ulcharmy cards yet, I have put in Small World as consistency, just two, and a Radiant. Radiant is probably my favorite bridge for this deck just because it's so versatile, and having a Kaiju in your deck is absolutely busted, where this is also an out to Duo Drive or Detonator, or any other problematic card that you don't want to be dealing with. If you see it in your hand, that's even better. But you can Small World away your Kaiju, or any like Blackwing you don't need, or your Bestial, go into the Blackwing or vice versa, and then grab the Kaiju, and you can just Kaiju your opponent and call it then. Or if you're going first, even if you draw this card, it's not a brick. If you have Small World, let me state that. If you have Small World, the Kaiju's not a brick. Other than that, it is. But you can Kaiju between the Bestials to the Blackwing monsters or the Blackwings to the Bestials, and it just allows the deck way more versatility, especially consistency wise. And I like keeping Blackwings at a good 42. We play a lot of level 6s and some bricky cards here or there. So I think 42 is a very good number for it, especially considering we have 11 hand traps, 10, 10 hand traps, non-engine cards, not just hand traps. But going on to hand traps, we have the 3 crossout. I think crossout, it's a personal choice. I fucking hate hand traps, and having this in the deck just allows you to play through much more, making a bigger board, and that's what you need nowadays, is to be able to have that bigger board. So I think the crossout is heavily needed, especially when you do get stuff like the Mulcharmies, and you have Dominus Impulse, because Impulse can be kind of hard to deal with in this deck. So yeah, unfortunately I don't have them, but it's still good to negate things like Cold Buy, for instance. I've had that happen where my opponent draws into one Cold Buy, and I go, oh well, I'll cross out the Cold Buy, or I set cross out, and they're waiting to cross out me when I cross out them. I'll cross out their cross out. Yeah. 3 cross out, 1 called by, and then the 3 ash and 3 imperms. Once I get the Molcharmies, I'm changing out the Small World and the Radiant for the Molcharmies because it makes it more consistent that way. Obviously, I could also just side the. So when it comes to the extra deck, I'm running the 1 Burrito Storm and the 1 Nothung for level 6s. Nothung comes up a lot more considerably now because we are. I mean, I've had hands where it's like uh, Zephyros and Vada, and I have like Sudri in hand, and I have to pick between Sudri or no or Zephyros. So I'll just go into Nothung and then get the additional normal summon if I want to do it that way. Or it's like I have Whirlwind and I want to search for Sudri and go full combo. So yeah. And then we are playing 2 Blackwing Dragons. One is for the first turn. Second one is either for the second turn or because we're playing Blackbird Close. Blackbird Close can special summon your second Blackwing Dragon out and give you a little bit more protection. We have a 1 Dispotter. Dispotter's the goat. We got 1 Blackwing Full Arm Master, and then, like I said, I changed out Chaos Angel for a second Assault Dragon. Chaos Angel just never really came up, and when it did, it was for its banishing effect, of which I didn't care about too much. Like this deck can break boards easy going second, especially with your Rising Rebellion Falcon, because Rising Rebellion Falcon is just going to nuke the field, or you just summon it out, you know, and with your Blackwing Full Arm Master, both are unaffected, and you have like Blackwing Dragon with your Feather Whirlwind, so in case something were to happen and something tries to get destroyed, you can just be like, no, no destruction, or my guys are unaffected, so I don't care. But I mean, rarely do we have like trap decks. Going on to the Exceeds, we have the Blackwing Force Tricks, Raiders Knight, Brave Strix, Arsenal Falcon, and the Rising Rebellion Falcon. Really standard for obviously the Rising Rebellion Falcon build. And then the Y-Strix and the Little Knight. Yeah, so that's the extra deck. As I said, with the double Assault Dragons, this can also come in clutch when you're just looking to set up a small synchro board. Say like they call Exceed with D barrier and you can't go into it. So you go into your synchro engine. This makes your synchro engine more powerful, along with giving you more follow up. Where I've had times where I just have Blackwing Dragon and Border Storm chilling in the graveyard, and I'm like, really use another Assault Dragon right now because that's just free plus. Uh, yeah, and then obviously having both on board will burn your opponent for a lot. Yeah, and some decks can't out uh, double Assault Dragon, Armor Master, Dispotter. Obviously not. Well, if you're doing Ryzeal, they're going to be having a tough time because just going into the Fiendsmith engine themselves, Fiendsmith is already like what 5 plus, 5 plus monster effects, and that's 14 each. So they're already almost dead. And then the Ryzeal themselves is going to be like 2 or 3 at least. So yeah. And then this is going to be my side deck for now. Obviously, as I get new cards and new sets come out, things are going to change or the meta changes. But for now, this is what I have come up with. 3 Lancia. You need them. Like, need them. I was on the bandwagon saying, you don't need Lancia. It's fine. Like, it's not going to do much. it does a lot. It immediately stops Malice wholeheartedly. And just in case that's not enough, I have also sided in to Nibiru because they still can't do anything about Nibiru either. So you're kind of sitting there chilling. So this is against Malice. Nibiru can also be used for other matchups. It's like a cheap Wallace, kind of. Not really. Wallace allows you to draw. Nibiru is just going to be you fucking tribute their whole board. So yeah. And then for the last 3 hand traps, I have Troll. You draw Ryzeal, they basically end their turn. I mean, they can end on like 1 Fiendsmith, but the fusion that has like the Omni Negate and then like the Paradise, but that's only like 2 plus interruption. If you have Ash, you can stop the Paradise. You can't do anything about it. And then going on to board breakers, because Ryzeal is still popular. Got a Book of Eclipse. Book of Eclipse, their whole field, they can't do anything about it. Unless they ash you, but that's why we still have the cross out and the call by. So yeah, this is going to help a lot against Ryzeal and Malice. And then I have the 3 Forbidden Droplets. I don't know what this spot should be. This is kind of filler. It's up in the air. It's very personal opinion on what you like to do. I obviously highly recommend you have the Book of Eclipse, Drolls, the Nibiru, and the Lancias. Those are going to be like the top 4 in the format right now for board breakers and hand traps. Like I tried board breaking Malice, and like I dustered Forbidden Droplet their board, and they were just like, "Oh well, you've used all your resources. I still have like 2 or 3 interruptions now because of just banishing and bringing back my monster. You can't do anything about it." And so yeah, Droplet is still very good because there's still a lot of main deck monster negates. Not main deck monster negates. There's still a lot of monster or omni negates that your opponent is making within the first turn still. And then I'm playing 1 Black Shadow Squirrel. I know I took it out of the main deck, but I'm keeping it in the side deck because not only are we running board breakers, so are they. So we have to be able to set up a board that can survive a board breaker, and Black Shadow Squirrel does that. Whether it be evenly, Book of Eclipse, anything. I mean, if they have a second one, then they're just the better player. You can't be able to account for both, but definitely account for something that's going to detrimentally hurt you. And setting up the Black Feather counter isn't too hard. It's just annoying. Yeah, that is the deck profile. So thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like the video, comment what you would change or what your opinions are on it. Obviously, the more I play and the more the format's going to change, especially post-Suda. I'm going to be making new profiles. I'm always updating the profile on my own time. So I'll definitely keep you guys updated on what the changes are. And with that, I will catch you later. Goodbye.